Now welcome to another lightning response video, where this time I'm going to do a few questions, starting with a little longer response to our first one, and then moving into a bit more of a rapid response style for a few at the end. Anyway, the first one comes to us from General Grievous, who asked, "Hey Thor, genuine question. Do you think Disney, Lucasfilm wants to repair their relationship with fans? Because I'm starting to think they don't. I actually am beginning to think they hate us. Not a specific demographic, but they hate that we care about the integrity of the lore, that we don't want it messed with, and that we care more about Lucas's original characters more than their new ones. Star Wars is not beyond repair, but the desire of current Star Wars leadership to win us back isn't there. They do not want to win us over, they want to replace us with mindless fans who don't ask questions and just consume products." And I mean, I do think you're probably right or on the right track to at least some degree with all of this. I've said before, their favorite type of fan is, of course, the ones who just consume and never question, and will oftentimes even kind of go on the offensive for them and defend what Disney and Lucasfilm are putting out there from those who are heavily criticizing it. I also strongly believe, again to some degree, that there are those within Lucasfilm, and maybe at Disney itself too, that are angry and resentful towards the fans who don't like what they're doing, who, let's be fair and honest here, who probably put a lot of hard work into the projects they do, though hard work does not always equal quality. But they do put a lot of time and effort towards these new Star Wars projects that oftentimes get flat out rejected by fans, and has the fans saying things like, the old stuff was so much better than this crap, that none of the new stuff comes anywhere close to it, that it's all garbage today and not real Star Wars, and we want Lucas back, or at least for them to not be doing Star Wars. If only Disney would sell it or Lucasfilm would clean house, maybe things would be better. And I mean, again, trying to be fair here, trying to look at all sides, but how would you feel if you worked at Lucasfilm and that's what you kept hearing? That virtually everything you put out there sucks. And yeah, if that's what you heard all the time, it might just make you do a bit of self-reflection to look inward and ask, are we not living up to the standards of Star Wars with what we're doing, and that's why they're so upset? Are we messing too much with the canon or with the very spirit of what George Lucas created, and that's why they say it isn't real Star Wars? Just what is it about what we're doing that they're so mad about? But, and I'm not necessarily trying to defend them or excuse their behavior at times, or the behavior of the media and the fans that defend them, but they are human, and humans are not always going to act professionally or respond well when they feel like they are being attacked. And no doubt some feel like they are genuinely being attacked, and attacked by bad people in the fandom, even if what most of us fans are trying to do is offer up genuine constructive criticism. We are letting them know that we, as paying customers, think they could be doing better, or how they could improve, or just why we don't like it. We just want good Star Wars, and we're trying to convey to them what that is, in our opinion, or what it isn't. And if it's good, if Star Wars is good, we will happily pay for it. We will buy it, which is the whole goal here, right? For us fans to be happy, and for them to make money, and to feel content as creators. However, not all of us fans do that, offer up criticism in a constructive or pleasant way, do we? Because we're also humans, and we're also passionate about this, and are, on the flip side, we're also a bit resentful towards them for screwing up Star Wars, for screwing up this thing we love so much, that we are so dedicated to. And so some of us unhappy fans, right or wrong, fair or not, we do just kind of trash what they do and say we say some pretty harsh things at times. Some very harsh things at times. To the point where they, again as humans, are going to look at that and think we're just trying to be hateful. And then they, yes, oftentimes go to the extreme back at us and call us or complain that we are the worst of the worst, that we are racist and sexist and all these other things. Thus, their criticisms, or our criticisms, should just be ignored because, as I said, we're just bad people anyway. And if you villainize the fans saying the bad things, what they say not only isn't valid or something you should even care or worry about, but it's actually something you should be fighting against. If we really are that bad, if the Star Wars fandom is full of racists and sexists, yeah, you should be kind of fighting against them. Problem is, a lot of us, most of us, aren't. We are, again, just passionate fans that can say some stupid things at times. And so we end up in this vicious circle, where the creators or leadership at Lucasfilm and Disney feel like, or convince themselves, that there's actually nothing wrong with what they've been doing, that it's actually pretty good. And again, you have those fans out there, the ones who do love it and endlessly praise it as the best thing ever to help reinforce that belief. And there are still lots of them out there that do that. Not to mention, those fans also oftentimes attack the other side as well and call them the same sorts of names, the ists and the phobes. And so there's this impression that, yeah, there are some really bad people in the fandom. And so when they at Lucasfilm hear the complaints, the more angry complaints, they either just ignore them or ask themselves, why should I listen to them anyway when they're never happy no matter what we seem to do? And when there are those that love and enjoy what we're doing, or they may even see a rejection of what they're doing as an attack on their very beliefs, the ones that they've been inserting into Star Wars, and are what the angry fans often complain about in some capacity. And it makes them double down because they feel more righteous with what they're doing because they are fighting against someone that they see as bad. They can literally see their enemy they're fighting against, the evil in the world they're trying to eradicate with Star Wars. And so, to quickly get back to the question, to sum this up before moving on, I again think you're right to some degree that they don't want to fix or repair the relationship with some of the fans because they do think some of them are genuinely, again, bad people. I also do think they probably hate the fact that people love the old stuff so much that they feel they're not giving their new stuff a fair chance, or they're just rejecting it because it's not the old stuff, or because they are, again, inserting their beliefs in there and they see a rejection of what they're doing as a rejection of their beliefs instead of simply a rejection of bad Star Wars. Alright, let's now move on to a few more questions, starting with this one from Beskamir, who asked, Hey Thor, you should give Darth Angelus a shout out. His adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy is amazing, and he's just one episode away from finishing Heir to the Empire. Alright, so I'm a little ashamed to admit I didn't know what this was, and so I looked it up, and it is incredible. I'm upset that I didn't know what this was beforehand. He has apparently, and again, I've only kind of looked it over for a little bit. I plan on watching it, but he has apparently done an animated version of pretty much the entire Heir to the Empire book. And the little bit that I watched or started watching looks incredible. So yes, I will absolutely give him a shout out for this amazing work. Do go check it out. I will put a link to the first part in the description below. Next up, and kind of going with that question, is this one from Jason Thomas Sailaword, who asked, Hey Thor, I'm a devoted OG movie and game fan, but I'd like to get into the books and quality EU. What books should I look to? And I always recommend starting with the original Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy, the aforementioned trilogy from the previous comment. It just feels like the natural best place to kind of start your EU adventure. However, if that's not up your alley, some of my other favorites, as I always talk about, are Darth Plagueis and Darth Bane, and they don't require you to know anything else from the rest of the canon or the EU canon. You can just jump right into those and be fine. Some of the other books I might recommend may have connections to other things, and perhaps in the near future, because I think I got asked by someone else, what else should I read after like the Thrawn trilogy? Perhaps in the near future, I'll kind of give my opinion on the reading order, though it'll probably more or less be release order, since that's kind of how I read them. Still an interesting discussion for a future video. Alright, then there's this question from Kairu Change, who asked, Hey Thor, I am once again asking if you still play Star Wars Unlimited. The game has been the brightest spot for Star Wars for me, and I also play at least once a week. The planetary qualifiers are coming up. Have you kept playing into Set 2? And I do still play the game, sort of. I play it with my wife from time to time. We both like it, we both enjoy it, but there's really no one else in our area who's been playing it, so that has stopped us from buying any of the new stuff. I haven't bought anything from the second set, for example. I still have like my starter deck and the packs I initially bought, which is like a box worth of packs. And so we have fun playing it together every once in a while, but no one really around here, so that has kind of killed my interest in going further with it. Alright, next question comes to us from Tip420, who asked, Hey Thor, we're talking about games. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3? What would you think of the new Knights of the Old Republic being made like Baldur's Gate 3? And yes, I have played Baldur's Gate 3. Again, I played it with my wife, and it is a incredible game. And given the sheer scope and scale and quality of the game, if Star Wars ever did anything like that, I think it would be phenomenal. But I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a once in a generation type game. I recall when it came out, other companies or game developers were like, don't expect that all the time. So, as awesome as it would be to see Star Wars do something like that, I don't think they ever would. I think Star Wars is unfortunately more about cranking out what they can that they know people will buy instead of trying to be the best. But yeah, that would be phenomenal to see Star Wars or a Knights of the Old Republic game like that. All right, one final question here from Deturimus, who asked, "Hey Thor, just wondering if you ever made an OC Star Wars character, and if so, would you consider sharing them in a future video?" I've actually made quite a few. You'd have to go back and watch my old What If or fan fiction series to find them, but I've made plenty in my time. I think my most popular one, maybe, because he's been in all of my fan fictions, is a character by the name of Dr. Search, or Say Urch. I kind of updated his name in my last What If. But he is a Kaminoan scientist who just kind of happens to be in every series. And if you're wondering how he got that name, well, back in the day when I did a lot of what ifs, which I would love to get back to, yes, I know people ask me to do that, and I am working on them, I promise. But I used to take people's names from the comments who comment a lot and who I got to know, and I would turn them into characters in the story. And I had someone named Mr. Search who watched a ton of my videos and commented all the time, so I had a character named Dr. Search. I've also had other characters, like I have a character named Rigamani, who I have gotten to know him extremely well. He is a friend of mine. He is a moderator on my Discord and so on, and in one of the stories he was a Mandalorian bounty hunter who got decapitated by Yoda, and so my Discord is even called the Headless Mando Cantina. So yeah, I have made plenty of original characters. You just have to go watch the videos to find them. I think that would work better than me kind of sharing a discussion about them other than this short one right here. Alright, well that is going to be all I got for you this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you think about anything and everything I had to say here. Or, of course, you can always ask a question for a future lightning response video. All you got to do is start your comment off with "Hey Thor" and then ask away. But whatever you choose to do, leave a comment below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.